Hey, hey.
We're getting better, little by little.
Little by little. Yeah.
Little by little.
I was trying to share our, what I was trying to do is just, can you just tag me from your Facebook page? Can you just tag Heather Botkin?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, because it went to the wrong page. Like, it didn't. That's what I was trying to do was just share the link while I was doing this thing. I appreciate you. Jamie's there. Hi, Jamie. We're going to do fire signs.
Okay. Heather Botkin.
That's me.
Okay.
What's this dude popping out again for? He was out all over the place yesterday.
Yeah, that guy was running. That guy was like, hey, guess what?
Right?
Right? Sonic has a 2-for-1. It's a twofer.
I like their, what is it? A peanut butter shake.
Man, they had this place up in upstate New York. It was called Stewart's. And it was like a convenience store / you could get some extra stuff there. And they had graham cracker ice cream. I didn't find that anywhere else in my travels, but man, that was so good. That's so good.
Sounds delish.
We're going to do the fire signs.
Jamie, are you already booting people?
She having a good time?
Get it. Yeah, I didn't see anybody comment
Jamie Fry.
anything.
I need to have a chat with her. Probably tomorrow, Jamie, if that's okay. We can have like a conversation perhaps in the afternoon, early afternoon. Yeah. Good things, good news. Welcome.
So today,
to the channel. Hi, Ryan. I was talking about the Knight of Swords. Yeah.
He popped up in the air sign reading yesterday. Like there was a couple of them that popped up. Actually, there's like 3 that popped up out of a few different decks. And he just popped again. But yeah, so today's the Gemini New Moon. Who's planting their seeds? It's got ruminating there. I did post on my Facebook page a written horoscope. It's also on the YouTube under, I guess, the community section. So if you want to check up on individual sun or rising signs, feel free to check it out. But today we're going to do the next roll around through this new moon energy for the fire signs. So as soon as Miriam's done being a secretary.
I'm pasting my links in here for y'all, and you can definitely get to Heather through me. She also has a bunch of links. And here's the pay information. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give you guys the scheduling link so you can schedule for Heather and I if you would like a reading. And that calendar is open. Mine will be open this upcoming Saturday. Heather has a little more opening if she wants.
Yeah. I just got to get in there and open my calendar. I haven't got a chance to do that. I didn't do that yesterday. But if you're interested, yeah, we're working on it. We are working on it. So Gemini Moon and Vedic. Hi, Ryan from Indonesia. Who else we got? Munradine. Hello, hello. All right. Oh. All right. Well, I'm going to get rolling while you're wrapping up because I know
Sure,
we've
sure.
got lots of stuff to do. I'll just start throwing out for fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sag for this Gemini new moon. What is it that they need to know? Well, hello. Three of Wands just blew out.
Man, every time I get into my softwares, I always find something new that's like really, really cool. And I'm like, ooh, we need that more in our lives, Like, take me 10 minutes to learn it. And next thing you know, we got cool stuff.
All right. So, Jamie, she loves us together. Oh, we love us together too. And hopefully I'll get to meet you one of these days.
Sorry I'm taking so long, you guys.
No, it's okay. It's
There
okay.
was some well, let's just put it like this. I'll put this first one in here, and we'll see how it goes from there. How about that?
All these wands. Oh, my.
There you go. You guys can start filling up the calendar because I know you want to, because I've gotten a lot of emails. And Heather has different availability than I do, which is kind of cool because she's also, studied astrology for like, what, 27 years? It's been a long time.
Well, I mean, I was a kid and I was totally into it, but full on 2018.
Yeah,
And
she's really good.
It's interesting because it came to me. It was kind of like my guides just started showing me different things, and I realized that it had to do with my natal chart, and then that's kind of how it works. I get a lot of intuitive messages, and I just get shown stuff. Plus, I have a solid base knowledge of astrology. So, yeah, I've been doing readings for quite some time now.
Yeah, my point is she's really good. And one of these live streams, her and I will sit down and go in with the charts, and you'll be able to see us together with the charts, but you'll also be able to see how Heather reads, which is quite amazing. So, yeah.
We should eventually just do an offering to have both of us read together.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these wands. All right.
Yeah, Mars being in Leo. If you guys haven't picked up the Mars in Leo thing yet, that would be the playful side that's coming out right now, where everybody wants to play games, laughing, singing, having a good time. That's the Mars in Leo. Friendships, lots of friendships, because the position of Leo angularly to Gemini, it includes friendships and valuing
It's a
friendships.
very playful.
Very playful.
Like, just think of it, somebody that likes to always make everybody laugh. Leo's the performer. Aries is the bold one to jump out and do it.
Fire signs.
Let me see
Fire signs.
Hi, April. I think that's my cousin, April.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hi, April.
And Jamie says, call me sexy, biatch. Sexy.
Fire signs, please, for June.
That's what Mars and Leo wants to be called. Because Mars in Leo is pretty sexy.
Just got the ping on that.
Wow. The crow is talking today. He's giving me a whole story. There's that Knight of Cups in reverse that yesterday you were wondering if he was there. He's the underside of the deck today.
All right, I got us linked into Patreon. That's cool.
Right
if
on.
you guys aren't part of the Patreon channel, that link is in the comment section. It will be put below this video. We appreciate you guys so much showing up, and I mean, your faithfulness has been amazing. Your loyalty has been amazing. Also, like a huge celebration, because the analytics on the Gemini video yesterday was insane, and that's all you. That's all you guys doing all that jazz.
Appreciate you showing up. That's
amazing response from that yesterday. We love you guys because you guys are kind of badass. That's one of the reasons why I loved Heather so much, because she's very rock and roll. And in my musings of trying to find my identity, like the real Miriam, I found that I was rock and roll with like 1970s beach scene. So Heather and I together with that rock and roll thing, the beach thing, kind of, it feels right. Feels good. Feels good. So go ahead if you're ready. I'm
so not done. No, and I'm still laying cards. I'm doing 3 rows.
New moon in Gemini means that it's opposite. We'll get the full moon in Sagittarius will be mid-month, and that should be interesting.
Oh, goodness.
I'm already picking up here that Aries is dealing with a Gemini somewhere. And I don't know who this Gemini person is, but let's just say they're there, and I'm picking them up. For some of you, this is a Gemini behind the scenes who's kind of running their mouth. This person's kind of talking. The only issue is I kind of feel like Aries doesn't care. It's almost like Aries is just alerted to it. They know it's there. I don't know. It's sort of like seeing the blue light special at Kmart. I can go over there if I want to, but I'm probably not gonna. If that makes any sense. Like I know it's over there, but whatever. Fire signs would be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And right now, the Mars in Leo is making a very happy connection to the Venus in Aries. So, you know, safety all. Make sure things are safe. That's everybody's responsibility is safety. You know what I'm talking about. Folks out there having a good time this Memorial Day weekend. If you're somewhere else in the world, this is a holiday weekend for us here in the United States. It's a remembrance for those who have fallen and gone before us in sacrifice to the nation. And it's very different from Veterans Day in November. This one is purely for those who have fallen. A lot of people are going to national cemeteries today, having presentations, flowers, and all that stuff. So as a veteran myself,
I was gonna say,
having served,
yes,
they died for a reason, and that reason was so you could live. So get to work and get a life and go live
and go
Because if
live.
all those folks are awake and hanging out, they'd be like, what are they doing? Not living life. You're alive. Go. Be free. Shaka. Live your life. That's what the sacrifice is for. So, safety, y'all. Because I'm going to keep saying that. Safety, safety. A lot of people putting fireworks out and stuff. You don't want to like set fire to the grass in your yard and then have an issue, if you feel me. Kind of like, that doesn't look like a good idea. Okay. Hi, Amy.
Yeah,
We're
hi,
on fire
Amy.
signs. So we're right at the beginning, Aries. Amy, I also put my links for my socials and the Cash Apps, the PayPals, and the scheduler. All those links are a little bit further up, Amy, if you feel like doing all that today. If not, don't worry. There'll be another day. All right, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to get to work. Okay, so Aries.
Okay.
Oh, that's one of the best. It's one of my favorite songs, man. I love that disco, 1970s. Love it. I know.
So we're doing a fire sign reading for the new moon in Gemini. We literally just laid our cards. And so we're just looking at them, getting ready to roll out on it. Glad you're enjoying your coffee. And hi, Felicia.
Oh, where's Felicia? She's
Miriam
my
talks
gem.
about you all the time. She says, I need you in my life.
There is no one like my Felicia.
Hi,
I do.
Jessica.
I adore her. She's like my diamond. She really is. I love her. Kind of a sick obsession, maybe. But who knew? She's an Aries rising. Of course, I was going to fall in love with her.
Huh? Yeah.
So is Heather.
Yep.
Heather's an Aries rising.
I am.
Yes.
All right. So fire signs. As far as cards, came out with the Three of Wands to start it out, some forward movement. And what's weird is, so it's like forward movement right into the Chariot upside down, followed by the High Priestess, Nine of Wands. In the reverse, Eight of Wands. In the upright, Temperance. We got the Nine of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, with the underside of the deck being the King of Cups in reverse. I mean, really, from what I'm gathering with this, it looks as if a lot of what you're dealing with, you're processing internally, definitely has to do with next steps and where you're going with your passions. I see you already know where you want to go. It may require. If the Chariot's in reverse, we could be looking at somebody having a problem with a vehicle or transportation, right? It could also speak to something that you have to move away from that has broken your spirit in a way, like broken your spirit and trust. And but followed right behind it is the High Priestess. It's kind of like saying, I got to move forward. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be able to do it, but I have faith. My gut's telling me I'm making the right moves. I'm surrendering to everything that has come before. And I'm going to go ahead and let my guard down. And I want to move into this. You may even be getting a message about this endeavor that helps kind of, solidify your commitment to yourself. It is very self driven, from what I can see. It's going to bring you quite a bit of balance and prosperity. We got the Temperance card with the Nine of Pentacles in the upright. That definitely speaks to some single energy. I mean, gosh, look at that card. It is so beautiful. And single energy, you see the lone wolf right there. The crow's on his head. It got a butterfly that evolved out of it. And leaning into the Queen of Wands. And with the underside of the deck, it very well could have been a heartbreak. You know, somebody made some impulsive decisions that didn't mesh well with your value system, your way of loving. Maybe you weren't loved right, and it's time to move on. Um, I'm going to go ahead and keep. I got two more rows to look at to add into that, but that's just what I get off the top line. Miriam, do you want to
Yeah, I have an
dig in
Aries
on it?
here who there is an offer of faithfulness from someone during a difficult transition. It's an ending, really. The Aries cards up here to me shows the fire sign that's actually, to me, this is transferring out. Like there was an opportunity to reverse, but at either opportunity, because there's two opportunities for the Aries, either opportunities was going to be a big thing, either one of them. But
Right.
for the Aries, you know, if there was an opportunity with this first one, they were going to do it. They knew that it needed repair. They were going to commit. They were willing. Let's just put it that way. They were willing. However, the issue here was not finding any kind of participation here, like trying to work within it. Let's just say this first thing was there's too many things to have to try to tackle all at once or just one at a time. Some of these things were like impossible. They were impossible to line up. That's the way that I want to put it. So what I see here is, even though there's like an emotional dysregulation around possibly a group or the way a group was kind of moving, the doubt was sort of there. I do kind of catch though that yeah, it's like the doubt of starting fresh was kind of there. For the Aries, they're actually going with the second option over here, and they're moving towards perhaps this is a financial opportunity, but they're going to have to make a choice. And either way, either choice, they were going to have to commit. You know what I mean? You see the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. For the Aries, I also have the fresh new beginning here.
Yeah.
There's damage here over time, or damage that's going to need to be addressed, but it's financial. You know what I mean? It's financial that needs a fix. So here we have the Aries sort of looking at this new opportunity and saying, you know what, if I'm going to get cheated out of the first one because of their choice, like
Right.
they made a choice, and if I'm going to get cheated out of that one because of their choice of being, you know, too free, right there, too free, and you know, whatever, couldn't come to terms in agreement with how to get the thing done. It's coming down the first empire, because remember, Aries squares Capricorn. So Aries does have that empirical emperor card building thing going on. They do eventually in their older years, you know, they want to feel proud of what they've built. And Aries usually wants to marry a Cancer, which is the other square on the other side. And they want all the babies, and they want to teach all the babies all the things they learned because it's so exciting. Yay. And let's go play touch football in the front yard while mom cooks dinner or dad cooks dinner. You know, that whole system is crumbled, right? And we're finding something here. It's like a totally new focus. Learning is gonna, like a learning curve is gonna be part of the second thing. But the financial opportunity that's over here, it kind of goes up, 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 up. They may have had to disappoint some people. There may be some people that it may look like Aries is letting someone down, but I think Aries on that first try, it's tapped out, and it's almost like a clock is here and it's ticking. Aries doesn't have time to, does that make sense?
It does. Like you're talking about time and the pentacles, all the pentacles that I have, with the exception of the Nine of Pentacles and the upright on the top, are all in reverse. So I have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse as well in the in the reverse in this deck, along with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And then in Rider Waite, I got the Four of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And when I add them all together, the way that I do my numerology with this, it ends back up in that single, like, divine, passionate energy for you, for your fire signs. And look at that's beautiful. Like, it adds right back to the Nine of Pentacles. So whatever move that you're making, I know you may be scared and not really knowing how this change is going to affect you, but you know that you have to make a move. You can't sit still. And although you don't know how it's going to play out, you have to keep in mind to trust. You do have to trust, because you know that that inner knowing is there. You just can't get it twisted. I mean, in the same row, I have the Magician and the High Priestess both in reverse. And yeah, it's there is swords. Do you have swords?
Actually, I only have one sword. The Aries reading for me sounds a little bit different, because for me, it's almost like Aries was on standby, and they've tapped out their resources. They've tapped out their energy. They've tapped out a bunch of stuff.
The tap out.
It's almost like they were in a position where they divinely knew that there was something new coming up around the corner. And as something was coming down, there's this wedding is like the Lover's card to me. This is a commitment on the other side of this teardown. Here's the thing, though, this divine timing here. Aries is such a cool, because it rules the Fool card, right?
Right.
This divine timing thing. Aries has been in preparation from Spirit with this, and Aries already knows how to do this. What Spirit is asking Aries to do, Aries has already done this before. And so it's sort of like Aries is being said, like, you're not going to work at Sonic or Burger King anymore, Aries. Now I want you to go over to the baseball stadium, because you're going to run the stadium. And Aries kind of knew they were meant for something bigger, something larger. They knew it was coming around the corner. It's just
that leadership
for all
role.
the waiting and all the waiting and all the waiting. It's kind of hard when Spirit finally comes in and goes, here it is, right? And Aries is like, yay. It's kind of like, finally, yay. Like,
there's right. And with that, that's funny. I laughed and both my earbuds fell out. But in this, I mean, I know she's still talking about Aries. The way I lay them, I can read with all of them, but the
look at
I want to know.
I just have to
know
show
more.
this. Look, Aries knew that someone next to them was being mysterious, wearing a mask. Aries has a relationship here, and there's a breakup behind it. But notice which way they're going is towards a family. Look at her.
Yeah.
She's moving towards a family, and something of a family that she's had a secret crush for quite some time. So it's, again, Aries, right? Squaring Cancer. I want all the babies.
Yeah.
This other situation was kind of solo.
That's weird. Like, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the Empress with the under the Eight of Wands.
Yeah.
And the Sun in reverse under the Temperance card. And in the middle, we've got these Pentacles upside down, the Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. So I don't know if it was a matter of Like you mentioned, you brought up the kids thing. One wants a family, the other one
Doesn't, yeah.
doesn't,
It's
kind of
solo. It's
thing.
like the other situation is solo. And it's curious that you have the Empress card here because look, I have 4 pentacles total that are in the upright for Aries. And the 4 of Pentacles for me is maintenance. You put something in your life, it's going to require maintenance. You get a house, you're going to have to clean it. You get a truck, you're going to have to service it. You know, you get a wife. I didn't say it, but you heard it in your ear. And that's what Aries is moving towards. It's almost like I'm in a position where I only have 4 pentacles left. I have to pick up and start building foundational, habitual things of like taking that stuff doesn't stop as a human.
The stuff that is no longer sustainable is
Like,
what I'm
dude,
saying with
you're not
that.
going to
No
work
longer
with me.
sustainable.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm losing, I'm down to nothing. And boom, here comes the Fool card. Okay, I'm going to stop with Aries. I'm going to move on to Leo. Leo's different. Is that your Leo?
Leo.
Oh, I saw some cards.
Oh no, I have the Kipper deck right here. I'm ruminating. What I'm here because what I'm seeing is I have the 10 of Swords under the High Priestess and the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. I have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse twice and the 9 of Pentacles twice. But with that, the 10 of Swords, when I was looking at this situation, it made me feel like somebody is torn with a decision on a choice of, although you have to make a choice, it's a painful choice that you don't want to have to make, but you know what's best for you. But the one thing that came to me out of this particular card, it just caught me, and I caught the feels of somebody just really going through some mental anguish and some emotional problems.
Yeah, look,
And
I have the
it's
same
going,
thing.
yeah, judgment, yeah. But somebody is really having some problems, and I see, they're intuitive, like they're right about a lot of what they've been thinking, and one thing I was just going to say is that remember that even pain, even heartbreak, the lessons, they're all lessons. And I know it hurts as you're going through it, but don't lose sight that there is something new and beautiful around the corner for you. Universe is just waiting for you to step forward, and this new moon is a great time to venture out and take that independent step forward into your next, because somebody else's opinion or actions does not define your value. It doesn't. So definitely know that that's not what happened is not all your fault. And you're not alone. You're not alone in this. You're not.
You
I'm
know what I
sorry.
love about this spread with Leo is Leo's got some backup. Okay. There's some backup because Leo has a strong relationship with another person where they kind of feel that through the storms of life right here, this person has been there, with them.
So we
They've
both had the same
walked
card.
through a lot with this, but like this kind of support kind of says, I love this person because we both have the same dream. We both have the same dream. So even though we do have that judgment in the reverse with the 9 of Swords and the upright, I love this part is awesome. I don't know who I'm talking to out there, but you guys really impressed me with this, Leo. Leo kind of steps up to the bat and transmutes this energy almost immediately. This kind of comes in, this judgment thing, right? And look what comes right after it is the Queen of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles. She spins that sword and says, you know what? Let's make it a 10 and let's check it off the list. It's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to transmute that into my next choice. And I'm going to look at my next choice differently than feeling bound, constantly bound here to that pain that Heather's talking about. Not me. I don't have to make this my identity. I don't have to make this a choice. I don't have to walk around with it, strapped to my chest, or, I talk about the Tauruses that kind of carry the carcass on their back as it disintegrates into their body because they refuse to let go. Leo's not doing that. They're transmuting it very, very fast. And they're looking at another choice. But here's the other cool thing about the Leo read that I'm catching. Leo's not jumping too quickly into anything. It's almost like Leo sees the opportunity to throw the shackles off, and then immediately Leo kind of takes a knee and begins to think about the process before they start moving forward. Now, I'm catching this as a channel. Leo's also saying, there's nobody else I need around me to make this choice. I don't have to lean codependently on someone else. This choice belongs to me and me alone. And maybe Leo's saying, I'm the only one that would be affected by this choice. And it is attached, Leo, to a situation. I feel really bad because one of my sister-in-laws is a Leo, and I know what's going on in her world. And so let's just say that whether you wanted it to, whether it was a surprise, whatever this is, the rug getting ripped out from underneath Leo has to do with a purpose that Leo may have been aligned with another person in their life, where it's kind of like we're not just at cross purposes, like I'm going this way, you're going that way. It's more like, let's say that someone can't go and do what you normally would do because they have a health condition now. Or let's say that someone is always on the road and they're always traveling, right? It could say, because this person is never home, everything's on me to create this other person's dream. And that's become a purpose for my life. And I don't have to do that anymore. So it's sort of like getting checked out. And that's the way Leo's looking at it. It's like, oh, great. I don't have to do that thing anymore because they're not around. I don't have to, you know what I mean? Leo's looking at it like, I have more time now. Like, I graduated from basic training. I'm finished with all that stuff. I've finished my degree and everything, so I have more time. There's also a loss, Leo. Like, I do kind of pick up that you may have lost a phone. You may have lost your calendar book, I'm kind of seeing. You may have lost the software. There's something here. And on the flip side of it, it's sort of like, it kind of changes out your schedule, your drive. It's reversing. That's what it is. An old decision you had in the past is going to get flipped and reversed. And it's part of the way you're going to open up more room to step into the new. Now, you also know that you may have to do this silently on your own without communicating. Like, you may pop off the map and people go, all right, this is what they're showing me, right? You finished and graduated. You elevated and got the promotion. You got let go or whatever. And in the back of your head, you always were like, I've always wanted to go hiking in my free time, but I never had free time. And now I have free time, and I may silence my phone and go off grid for a little bit because I've always wanted to do it, which means other people may not know where I'm at for a time period. Other people may not know what I'm doing for a time period. And to me, it's sort of like you've needed this little space. That's what it looks like to actually accomplish working in the next you. So it's almost like Leo is just literally, I'm putting up here, I'll do this. I don't know what it is. Sort of like Leo going, I got plans back here. I don't have to carry this around like this. Does that make sense? So
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
Like
looking at
that.
that, and that independent single energy is there with that Knight of Wands. Like right next to her is that Ten of Swords, and she's surrounded. She's got the Chariot in reverse around her, the High Priestess in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, and the Ten of Swords. So this the Leos, it looks like, are like recently, it looks like a recent separation or break. And although there's pain there, Leo, you have to be careful to, I, okay. So the whole line that I see it on ends with the Magician in reverse. The High Priestess is in reverse on the same line. The Queen of Pentacles, all of it's pretty much reversed. I was looking at this and I don't know why, but I basically just saw like Leos trying to drown their pain by going out and having fun. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but then I got drawn back to the mask that Miriam was mentioning earlier, and the mask of trying to be happy and put on a performance. It's cool. Go out and have fun, but don't be reckless and blow money that you need to be setting aside for something else. Because honestly, looking at it, they're very well. I want to double check to clarify the Magician in reverse.
She's talking, and I pulled the regret in the reverse. Like, I
Yeah,
ain't got no regrets about the
yeah. So
situation, like,
what
do.
pull for the Magician in reverse? The clarifier is the main male. Okay. So the main
Oh,
masculine in the story is the one that's pulling the Magician in reverse energy. So, with that, go out and have fun, but you may want to be careful of underlying tactics, manipulations, things like that. Also, if you're out and going, out on the bar scene, the clubs, or
I
whatever,
see.
be careful to watch out for spiked drinks, kind of thing, with that moon card. Okay. Um, Watch out for spiked drinks. Maybe don't overindulge in substances, is what I'm getting. And I know that's weird, and it may not apply. If it doesn't apply to you, don't think I'm saying that something's going to happen to you. I'm definitely not. I just would say, with everything being so fresh, new, raw, don't put yourself in a position of vulnerability unless you've got stand up friends around you. Okay. That's just what I got off of that.
I also have Leo doing this. Some form of proof has come in, and it says here that it's attached to legal matters. This may be information you didn't know before, but it
I had
definitely
the
could
courthouse
be,
pop out
yeah,
too.
like, it could be proof, evidence, something that stands, you know what I mean? And that's being shown here. We don't want a particular truth to come out because it might cause some chaos or storms or whatever. And that may be a part that Leo has had a hard time trying to let go, or Leo is sort of believing that maybe it couldn't happen to them. It can't happen to me. Either way, Leo doesn't want to have any risks, and they don't
Um,
want to keep feeding an emotional thing. So they're checking out of social media completely so it doesn't trigger anything in their heart. And they're just going to, whatever they're doing privately in the silence of whatever. And it looks like Leo is kind of meditating and waiting for the next message to kind of hit Leo. I think it's a good, if you're always watching YouTube videos on the surgery that your husband's going to get, it would amp you up. You know what I mean?
oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna look at these two cards. I got judication and courthouse, and those both popped out for me on my Nine of Wands reverse, the Queen of Pentacles reverse, and the Seven of Pentacles reverse. When I was talking about don't put yourself in a position to where you might have your, somebody might undercut yourself. I think this might also just be a way that you could undercut yourself by driving under the influence and maybe getting a DUI. So don't drink and drive. Don't partake in shady activity. I wouldn't be around any bad areas, because honestly, that could lend to you letting your guard down in a way that gets yourself in more trouble than what it's worth. So, ooh, my goodness.
There's also something, Leo, about not setting someone up for failure. That you care for another person that's close to you greatly enough that whatever choices they make next, you don't want, you don't want to jump in there and meddle and set this person on fire or despair and set them up for failure. It's sort of like, I don't want to take a risk with a fresh new start. So silently, I may do something, but I may not explain the whole thing to the whole world. You know what I mean? This can also be an avoidance here of not wanting the rest of the world to think that you have some sort of attachment to someone when you don't. But I think you've already, this is my opinion, I think that you've already kind of made up your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I got the 7 of Cups in reverse and that 3 of Wands in the upright.
There's like a strong determination. And that would make sense with Mars and Leo, because it would be, as Mars kind of cruises around the chart, it's going to hit whatever planets you have in there. So the only one I would worry about is Saturn, because if you have Saturn and Mars is like headed towards Saturn. But if you've already dealt with that Saturn issue, then it should be a clean sweep. If you haven't, you might anticipate something else. So, for instance, Mars is heading over your sun sign, your moon sign, your Venus sign, your Mercury sign, whatever is in Leo, your ascendant line, your midheaven line, your IC. Mars would be amping up a very strong Aries sort of Mars Emperor determination to protect, to build, to be empirical, to show your ability to do something freely and independent on your own. But it will bring out the warrior, you know what I mean? And Leo in the warrior is kind of like the ninja, the singular ninja that goes, watch this. Watch what I can do.
For the 3rd time, I just got caution again. Okay, so I got caution. I got caution again with the wands. And then I also got this whole storyline of passion. And when basically, if there's somebody that you're on the fence about, I have to go here because it's here. If there's somebody that you're on the fence about, feelings wise, like wondering if you should pursue this relationship or something like that, it really does kind of appear that whoever you're looking at isn't necessarily looking for. They may be down with the passion, all over it with that wand energy, but there are not a lot of cups, and the cups that I have are the Knight of Cups in reverse and the 7 of Cups in reverse. So I'm not seeing a whole lot of love. Friends would definitely be a good way to look at it. And with that 4 of Wands in the upright, yesterday it was reversed for me, but in the 4 of Wands in the upright for you guys, it tells me that, like she was talking about there being somebody else. I can see the somebody else being somebody of feminine nature that you likely work with or have shared interest or hobby together, that's going to be bringing you a message that's really going to help you along your way and help you be able to sort and filter through what's next. But I definitely feel single energy all over the reading that I can see.
There
It's
is
more like
going to be a meetup.
relationship with self. Oh,
I can
you
see
see the
that
meetup.
person showing up. But I can also see a little bit of talking about the relationships with the whoever this person is that's showing up. And Leo is saying, I need to protect my family values, my home, my money, my finances. And it's sort of like, wow, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that before in this card. You can see how there's an empty kind of mausoleum or a mansion here. And there's, to me, that's like a boat pulling up to a house that's already built. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And this card is the Three of Cups. So this is a meeting, but it's, I have three little people in the boat here, and they're headed towards this bigger, huge, kind of beautiful place that's already established. And it's something that the other person could not have done for them. They're also going to talk about how an ex or somebody in the past had a lot of misdirection, bitterness, unforgiveness, because whatever they're doing isn't funny. I'm just throwing that in there. I've got dragonflies, lotus flowers, waterfalls or water geysers. Water moving, water that is moving in an unusual way. Emotions that are moving in an unusual way that a person may not be familiar with. Maybe they're not, but it is close enough to them. Kind of feel like these are other people's emotions that may be getting in the way of.
Yeah, I mean, if I do a call out and I just kind of look at the major arcana or signs that I have here, we've got the Death card, which is Scorpio. I've got the Chariot in reverse. So we've got Cancer, High Priestess, Scorpio, Virgo energy, another High Priestess, one Priestess in the upright, one's in reverse. And then I've got the Empress, which is Venusian, Libra, Taurus energy, the Sun, Leo energy, Temperance, Sag, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying as far as the players in the story. But
I'm going to stop there with Leo because I'm
that's
getting that
probably
thing.
good. Yeah, I'm getting that thing too.
Because Sagittarius down here, and I see this person. Look at this person. Oh my Lord, have us all to dinner. I mean, the first thing that comes out with Sagittarius for me is I said what I said. Literally, that's the first thing I get from Sag. I said what I said. And they didn't say it nicely. No. There could also be a person that you're attached to, if it's not your own damn self, that was giving large decisions that affect many people, but they're doing it unethically. It's almost like they're going into a commitment of some sort, but the whole commitment was set around not just negativity. Some of this stuff would be like breaking the rules. Like, I'm outside of the law. I don't have to follow the law. I can do whatever I want. I do hear, Sag, that this choice in the past, it could have been a divorce. It could have been like, I'm getting somebody who might have been let go, or they might have been fired for doing something shady at work. They could have made it a strong commitment to something, like a vehicle payment or purchasing whatever. Anyway, this thing kind of haunts them. It sits in the back of this person's head. There's been a development and a growth for Sagittarius in the way of like money or career or status. And the ambition here that Sagittarius has been motivated by, it includes something around, this would be like elevating to the highest point of your career, or being a mature older person that has learned discipline. You know, It's strange because Sag could have made a payment or something that committed.
Tell me more about that message.
Because to me, this is like, yes, I made a financial commitment to something, but I'm really upset that I did it. You know, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it again. You know, the whole thing about me, I was just following a moment's desire. Like, for instance, if you went to work and you wanted to leave early, and so you asked somebody else to clock you out at end time, right? So
An
were you breaking the
ethical
law? Yes.
ish.
Were you whatever? But it was momentarily because you wanted to go to Taco Bell because they just got the
Right.
thing. So it wasn't necessarily worth getting fired and ruining your reputation in your field and all the stuff that came with it. It was a momentary desire, like eating a taco, and then you were done. So you know what I mean? But like, it wasn't worth the Ace of Cups in reverse. You know, it wasn't worth the repercussions of something.
There you go. There you go. I could see where that lies here. And it almost does look like maybe a boss person found something out, because I see about like getting a message from somebody at work, and it was the King of Wands in the upright.
Yeah.
But on the clarifiers that I was throwing out for Sag, there's nothing super, like, I don't think there's anything super major going on right now that I can see with Sag, except for emotions. And I heard like being in limbo. The Four of Wands came out sideways, and that was over the Ten of Swords, and that it's laid up between the moon. It's laid up between the moon and the Eight of Cups. So looking at that, if we've got some Sages out there that are, uncertain, it really looks like Sages are up in their heads about the Two of Cups, and how a relationship's going to play out. I just heard on the rocks. So in limbo, on the rocks. Six of Swords in reverse is the overall energy about that. And I just heard, should I stay or should I go? You know that song? Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Woo! But it does call. And you know what? I think there's kids involved. I've got a couple of or somebody's acting like a kid. I have the Page of Pentacles in reverse and the Page of Wands in reverse. And the King of Wands is in the upright, the Moon's in the upright. There's a lot of uncertainty. So just remember, like, I would just say a little boost for you guys is just remember, if you're looking for clarity, it's okay to pray on it, to ask your guides for some help, for some protection, say, if you do have to reach out to anybody, I would reach out to that person holding that King of Wands and Empress energy. Don't start talking to a bunch of different people about your business, because they'll probably just mess you up and make you even more confused about what your next steps are. So definitely look towards somebody who is more mature. I was going to say older, but I got corrected for more mature, and has maybe dealt with situations like this before, that doesn't have any vested interest in, one side or the other. Obviously, pull it away is always a way to get a more holistic view. And then I just heard, time is on my side. Yes, it is. That's what I heard. My guys are throwing me music today. Okay, so maybe you do have some time, as opposed to, what was that, Leo and Aries that didn't really have time. That's what I just got, that you do have a little bit of time on your side. So whatever moves you're gonna make, You do have the ability to be a little more strategic. You've just got to get out of your head. See that you're working on getting out of your feelings, but you got to get out of your head.
I'm with you. Like, to me, it seems like out of the 3 signs, Sagittarius is the one going through an internal shift of some sort. And it's being influenced quite possibly by another fire sign, or just I have Aries, yes, but I also have Scorpio. I have Cancer and Sagittarius, Capricorn, and this is what it would look like to me.
I've got the Gemini with the Magician in reverse and the High Priestess, Scorpio.
Someone close to Sagittarius that Sagittarius has been concerned about, because to me, this person kind of pulled away from them. I don't know if they've been ill. I will say this, for some Sagittariuses, there is a person close to you that may have the C. This person could have a little bit of gray or white in their hair, but the big C is attached to this person in some way. And if not, it could be also attached to, I have 333222 on my clock right now.
You just mentioned health. Look what card just drew my eyes, Miriam.
Yeah, it's sort of like knowing that I feel guilty because this person, I wanted to be there for this person. Maybe they reached their hand out in some sort of way, but they weren't doing something I didn't like what they were doing. And now that the big C has shown up with someone in their life or themselves or something like this, they're looking back and they're sort of saying, it's like Sagittarius is judging themselves. It's sort of saying, I really should have been there for this person. But at the time, I was in this state, like it would be like a homeless person showed up at your door and you turn them away because you're dirty and you didn't take a shower. And Sagittarius is like, I never should have done that. Like, I should have been more compassionate. It's almost as if there's a mothering issue attached to this as well. That sort of talks about love that like wasn't given inert. Okay, it would be like this. I raised my children to be such go-getters in life, to focus on career, elevation, money, status, right? But I didn't focus on what if one of my children goes into a depression. I don't know how to go in there and be this nurturing presence, and now they pulled away from me. And I really, now looking back, I should have treated this child differently, with a little more tenderness or a little more love, because I'm not the one that they turn to in their internal troubled time. Does that make sense? That's how I'm kind of seeing it. So to me, it's like Sagittarius is in a position where they're saying, whatever this child does, if they ask me for help, I'm going to be there right now. If they say that what it's going to take is this, mom, dad, friend, for the achievement of this to happen, I'm going to need this box. And Sag is in a position going like, I'll be there at this point because I don't like living like this. And I don't like watching them hurt, but I also don't want to be overly emotional because I am concerned. They pulled away from me. Like, me of all people, what? I do see a meeting coming up with a Scorpio. Travel very well could be involved. There is going to be a conversation that's very difficult because it's sort of like, how do I explain this to the Scorpio in a way that doesn't really make me look bad? you know, someone's heart chakra is just kind of crushed.
Oh, you mentioned health, and I popped it a couple times. So I got bad health on top of the moon card.
Yeah.
So with that, the unexpected unknown thing was there, but I got drawn over here to this storyline with this Two of Cups. Look at this in this pro deck, Miriam. It's got the heart and it's got
Ooh.
that health thing. When you were talking about health, my eyes got drawn over to that card.
Yeah.
And sitting on either side of it, we've got both of these crows in reverse. We got the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands in reverse. And I have a Queen of Wands and a King of Wands on the outsides looking in. And it's almost as if the cards that came out for both of the younger energies that were in reverse are unexpected income and privileged young lady. And privileged young lady was like in reverse. To me, if either of if there's any of you Sages, or I'm going to say fire signs in general, because I mean I did pull extra for you guys, but it almost seems like sibling rivalry, and or a little bit of jealousy, and maybe your parent, like I'm seeing like parents or family members that maybe are having to figure out a will. I know that sounds weird, but what I'm seeing is they want to do what's best for the family. And, you know, they know you guys don't get along. However, you do have that soulmate bond, you know, with that Two of Cups. You guys are bonded and you are family. I think it does ask for a whole lot of maturity because you likely do have a parent that just found out that they're sick and not going to be around a whole much longer. And so the little immature shady stuff that's happening with the high priestess in reverse and the magician in reverse, it's almost like twins. You hear about twins that go end up going after each other, but it's almost like if you know somebody, or if you guys are these people that have siblings that you're not getting along with, definitely need to learn to talk to each other and kind of get over the materialistic side of things, because it seems to be a big problem. Somebody's really like has some jealousy issues, and it's causing such a rift. But you need to realize that you guys do have elders too that you need to look out for, as they did you when you were growing up. And that was like literally, I heard like a aunt or a mom or somebody telling me, they're like lecturing me on treat your elders, watch out for your elders, be kind, and make sure that you don't raise the stress level and have an unsteady house and cause more grief for your parents who are likely dealing with this. That's very specific, and I whatever, there's that message for whoever that's for.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Sagittarius is sitting in a space, and I mean, there is regret looking back. Yeah, they've been very focused on work and not really paying attention to signals. There's a way of communicating. Like, I don't know if, because it does. Let's just say it like this: Sag is on the right at the end of the reading, going, "Oh my God, what do they think of me?" Or, "Oh my God, I know that they're transforming from this. What are the conversations going on over there?" I'm upset that a momentum between me and the person I'm looking at has stalled. It's in a stop position. Maybe they were walking in a different direction. And so, but at the same time, Sag is sort of like looking at themselves going, on the one end, it's like, well, F it. And then on the other end, it's like, dude, I got to quit. I got to quit with whatever this Knight of Cups is in the reverse. Like, I need to
I just
quit.
heard a behavior. I need to
Yeah, it's
quit
like a
this behavior.
behavior.
I need to quit this behavior.
I need to quit doing this behavior because it's led people or others into a spot where, man, I don't, it's sort of like, I'm not okay with what's being said out there. I'm not okay with the way people are looking at me. I'm not okay with, like, I did this thing and the person made a choice, another choice, and they fell into a pit. Like, it was my fault they crawled and fell into a pit
Right,
because I was
right,
joking around like, hey, dude, let's test the booby trap. Woo, I did the
right.
booby trap. Let's test it, right? And it's one of your friends, and they go in there and they break a leg. And Sag is sort of sitting back like, oh my God, I never should have asked my friend to do it. Uh, uh, right? And now all your friends have pulled away, and you're like, what the F
I
is
guess that's
happening?
another way to see those Page of Wands in reverse too, and the Magician and the High Priestess in reverse. And then getting the privileged lady. If you are one that your whole life, and I am not judging one way, shape, or the other, this is just what's coming through. It's like if you are a person that has a parent that's like starting to get a bit older, and maybe they're not as swift on their feet as they used to be, or maybe they're showing signs. I just heard like dementia. But if you're one that has always been taken care of, okay, throughout your whole life, if you've never really had to struggle financially or anything like that, and you know that your parents have money and or they have always been able to provide for you, keep in mind that this is probably about to be a time where you are maybe going to have to reverse the roles a little bit. Let up what if you are being a financial burden, maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's not a financial burden anymore, but all the pentacles that I had were pretty much in reverse. But if you're an adult and you're capable, take care of yourself as much as you can, as I can see that there are other people that are close to your unit that are having to worry about taking care of an elder. And maybe that's a role that you're being asked to mature and step into and take care of yourself a little more. So if mom and dad have been, paying for, I don't know why I just got timeshare. Like what that's really I heard timeshare, and then I heard a phone ring. So like maybe you're on your parents' family plan, or they've been paying for and letting you use the timeshare. Maybe it's time for you to try to help get them some help with the courts and like maybe how to get out of it if they need to. Sorry, I'm getting like blue, 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 all kinds of weird hits.
Well, it's weird that
So
you're saying that because I'm getting that, A, you need to anticipate that a message is coming, maybe about an ex or a previous job situation or something. And this message that's coming is sort of like you didn't think about that, But the message that's coming is going to lead you up to a conversation with a Scorpio. And you're
I
very
see
scared
Scorpio all
and
over the
nervous
place.
to talk to this Scorpio because to make things work in your world, you may have had to break some rules to do it. And that conversation with the Scorpio, it's kind of like, dude, I got to get rid of this quick. I got to I got to try to go in there to the BOMB and undo the thing before it,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But that
yeah.
conversation with the Scorpio, that Scorpio is going to come in and be like, I know that you've changed. I know that things aren't the same. However, I do have a piece of evidence, or there is evidence here. This could be a time card that was stamped. This could be like a report that your boss wrote, that a felony charge. This could be something in your history that may be a long time ago and it still exists. It didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? And the conversation with the Scorpio is going to be like, what are you going to do about it? Because this is like hardcore. What are you going to do about it? And I mean, a lot of this was sort of like I
Wow.
needed to take care of my needs. So I dropped that over there so I could take care of my own needs. And when I talk to this Scorpio, they're going to know that I cheated at something that you know what I mean? They're going to
Mhm.
know that I don't have, or I wasn't at the time.
It was a
Cuz
front.
yeah, it was a front. I was angry. it's sort of like, how do I explain this? And again, I'm thinking of, P. Diddy,
Right,
like
right. Well,
somebody rushing in going,
I
oh
did
my
have a
God.
lot of young, reckless energy in reverse, and shady dealings were all over the place. So, wow. Okay. I just got like two stories thrown at me. One was showing me back I pulled all my cards back, so I'm just getting more messages about them. One had to do with that adjudication and the whole court thing, and then with the pages being in reverse and a separation and their kids involved, and there's likely, divorce or child support type proceedings going on. But
Yeah.
there's a worry from both sides, of like, well, I don't really make money anyways, and that a whole lot of money anyways. So what? That was that magician energy in reverse. So what? Like, come try to get me. But I do see that it's likely that there's going to have to be a whole lot more like arbitration. I'm hearing like court ordered attorney, and that with a court ordered attorney, you guys are going to have to do a lot more arbitration. But it definitely looks like maybe there's a privileged lady that may be trying to come after one of you for child support. And it likely won't, nobody wants to have to do it that way, but I would just say try to do as much research and arbitration as you can, rather than just starting to do shady tactics and running, because over that. But there's definitely some sickness, and you've got to remember your kids are what matters in this.
Someone's
Maybe it's
mimicking something you did. It's one of those things where, let's say that you're a mentor, right? And like back in the day, you were a solid mentor to this person, right?
Mm,
And then we skip ahead to the future and they see you doing something that's, and they follow suit and they just go with you doing it like la di da di da. And now they're in trouble. And you're like, you know, it's either way, it's like a nerve wracking sort of situation that you're not prepared for. And the other person knows you're not prepared for it. It's kind of strategic in the way that it is.
yeah.
You may have been addressed by a Scorpio before that said, hey, brah, this is a serious thing you need to look at, and you didn't. And it's kind of catching up to you. It could, I'm seeing a car with a tail light out or a front light out, and a ticket, a large ticket, or standing in front of a judge could be a part of this. I also see this is sort of like being in a survival state, wanting to slim things down, make things simpler. And so what happened here is just this responsibility that matters. I'm just going to chuck it over there and focus,
Whoever
because I'm
just
getting like an ADHD thing.
whoever just said it's cheaper to keep her. Wow. Wow. That was loud. That was loud and clear. It's
Yeah, but you
cheaper
know
to
what
keep
the
her.
crazy thing
Oh my
is
gosh.
the tent here in the Four of Wands is empty. There's
Yeah.
nothing in that tent. Nothing has been put inside of that tent.
It was on
And
limbo when it came out for me.
it almost kind of seems like clearing out, thinking that would make you feel better. There's a situation now where you see that it was a wrong decision for someone close to you, and now they're taking action. And maybe you thought this person was going to chase you. I mean, seriously, this Leo person or whoever I'm looking at here, it's sort of like, I'm concerned with what they're going to do with the information. They could have already moved out of the house. They could have taken your kids and moved out of the house. Um, yeah, there's a concern here.
I just threw it down as you were talking. I got the Three of Swords in reverse and the Judgment card in the upright. Underside of the deck is the Six of Cups. So Yeah, I mean, it's
Not
definitely.
speaking with someone and not clearing the air right here, not facing the heat, not being brave enough to clear the air around
There's a
something.
lot of that.
The Scorpio is the one holding the standard. I promise you that. The Scorpio is sort of like, this is normal. Jump the normal, and this person's refusing, and then out
And this
comes the
message is
truth.
going to come in fast. I mean, this is the Gemini new moon,
It's going to be
and
like,
moon
boom.
cycles are like, most potent, the first few days. But it's a 2 week before it gets to be a full moon again. But like, this is a perfect time. Gemini is all about communication, and siblings and short distance travels and all the little files and the paperworks and the doing this and that like communication is so key and can fix so many things in relationships. A lot of things that we create, a lot of the fear that keeps us from telling on ourselves or confronting something that we're afraid to talk about has to do with the narrative of the outcome that we've created in our head, right? And that, if you just go through and say, hey, here's the deal, I've got this, and this was the situation, it, the split could still be there, or somebody could go, you know what, I get that, maybe I don't need to ask for so much in retribution through the court, or whatever the situation is that you're dealing with. Forgiveness, practice compassion and forgiveness for yourself and for past actions and current situation. Practice grace, and just go ahead and talk about it. This new moon has some beautiful trines to some powerful hitters planetary wise, and it's one of those times that it really does talk about new solutions becoming available if you're just willing to talk
And
and
that's what I
communicate.
see here is this person developed a system here where they chose the easier route. Someone here kind of chose the easier route. I do have procrastinating right here because it's too hard to get. And this person sort of holding on this ugly feelings that this person is going to cheat. Like, you're going to cheat. You're going to take everything from me. It's too much work to try this again. It's too much this and that. And someone being cold, very cold because of their insecurities right there. Now,
Right.
here's the other thing. Playing games, not this person. That's the thing. And that's the scary part is, if a Sag thought that they could just do the bare minimum and shove this thing to the very back, the response from the other person that is quite possibly a threat, or the other thing, because this is how I see it. It's my interpretation. If you know your astrology chart, you know where to look. This area that's coming, it's going to be in the Scorpio area. You need to look at the house that has Scorpio over it because that's where it's coming. Now, the choice to correct it or the choice of the threat or whatever that is, it's going to be in Gemini. But if you know where Scorpio is, this is where it's going to hit. And so it's almost like someone says, toe the line, toe the line, toe the line. And here it's kind of like, shouldn't have just ignored that back there. The Pisces square to Sagittarius. I was
Yeah.
my own worst enemy, and they have proof, and I don't.
I
And
feel
even
like
though this person is sort of standing there, so no, they're a liar, they're a liar. What are you going to do when they actually show up and reveal? They're going to reveal the value system that's all left up. The Sun card wouldn't be here if this wasn't something physical. This is
mine was
something
in
physical. It's
reverse.
kind of a big deal. And you see how the Sun comes up and just blows up that 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is something that has proof. You can't deny it. It belongs to you because it's in your world. You need to pick it up and own it. And this other person hasn't been owning it. And here comes I have excuses all over the table.
I
Oh,
do
they're a
too.
liar.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I'm just a
excuses,
loner. Oh,
tit
well,
for
that's too
tat.
much work. Oh, you're going
I
to
do
cheat on me.
substance abuse, tit for
Yeah,
tat.
this
You
person's
know,
crazy. They're bipolar. You know, there's all of this bull crap it's like barbecue sauce, trying to put barbecue sauce on a cow patty. It's sort of like when this message comes in, it's almost like Sag set it up to make it this hard.
I think somebody's going to end up, I do think somebody's going to end up having court ordered, what's the word I'm looking for? At first I heard, community, what is it called? Community support or whatever. When you get in trouble and you have to do things for the community. I heard that, but then I also think that somebody may have to go into treatment to heal some addiction issues, but the shame with the Six of Cups in reverse and the judgment, the way that it looked is this wasn't the first time. If you need help and you've fallen off the wagon, or you're no longer dry, like you've got,
I have
don't
Sagittarius putting an unrealistic expectation on someone.
expectation was one of the cards that came out too, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's like calling the pot calling the kettle black.
Exactly.
Because this isn't their first rodeo either, but they've never really like put in the work. Like I got the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Here's the offering. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go do it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fix everything. I'm gonna be this Knight of Wands. And here's the offering, hey, we're going to give you one last grace or you're doing jail time. I'm just using that as a scenario, but it's like one last grace. Here's this opportunity. You take this pentacle that's being offered to you and you go heal some of the stuff that you haven't been working on. You've got to deal with these addiction issues or these anger issues, and put in the work. And although you may not want to, you may be sitting firm in your Four of Pentacles and your Four of Cups energy. You can't, the party can't keep going on forever. And you're going to be left ass out if you don't really. Saturn just moved into Aries. I'm just going to point that out. Okay. So Saturn moving into Aries is giving a lot of willpower. Okay, a lot of willpower. So it's trining all you fire signs, right? Like if you're struggling with any sort of things, Saturn moving into Aries is going to be one of those that helps you be able to be that stand-up, dedicated person that you need to be to get through whatever situation you're dealing with. It's just time to face yourself and stop pointing fingers and stop playing the victim.
Yeah, I see this person like coming in for a long time saying, hey, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. It would be like getting a letter in the mail once a week from child support or something. We need to address this. We need to address this. We need to address this. And what I have here is Sag making it where I'm going to make it so busy that I don't have time to deal with it. Now, the so busy part could be real for those, because I'm thinking of one of my clients. I can't remember her name right off but if I tell her story without saying her name, I don't know if that's okay, but she had a father transition, and the father made her executor of a car shop business and the house,
right,
and taking care of her mother who needed to go to an assisted living. So a lot of those choices that involved family, they were all going to get mad. She had a Pisces brother that wouldn't move out of the house, and I can see how her world was completely overwhelmed, where literally probably going to work gave her a break. You know what I mean? But this whole not making the time could also go the other way, because the Knight of Swords is in the reverse. And it could definitely say, like, I have proof that you purposefully set it up to be so busy that you chose not to sit down and have the powwow. And everybody could see it. You know what I mean? Like if this
Hmm.
was a strategy and a tactic, it's not gonna work. It's not working because whatever this thing with the sun card that showed up, it's hurting someone close to you that you love and you want to come together with. It's hurting them. And they're the ones that are pulling away from you now. And you're like, where are you going? And they're like, look, everything that came tumbling down from your choice way back when, it's hitting me, black eyes, bloody nose, and I just need to
Right.
kind of pull away. And Sag is like,
Mhm.
no, 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 wait, don't go. It's kind of like, see the running away. This
Yeah.
person's like running away.
And I will say, you have a really good chance to have this be your grow
If
up
you play it
moment,
right,
glow up moment. Just, yeah,
the
it's one of
square
those
to
things
Virgo,
that,
it's on the other side of Pisces. The square to Virgo is to either humble yourself and say, I'm a human, I make mistakes, and I'm willing to take responsibility for my choices, or to be
mhm,
humiliated, which is, I'm seeing the humiliation part here,
yeah,
like Ashton,
yeah,
K-U-T,
yeah.
chur, right? And going, don't move out. Like, I did not know you had those kind of things going on. But
Hmm. All right. Well, hey, do you have anything else?
no,
I think
just know that for
we
the
leveled
Sag
those
group,
out really
I'm
well.
feeling a tremendous amount of compassion for you guys right now,
Yeah.
because you never know you need mercy until you need mercy. And this is like one of those times, and I wish I was there to walk this with you, because I think Heather and I would hug you. Well, she would hug you. I would make you cookies, because this is kind of hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Leo's the best one of the group. You know, Leo's kind of like, F this, I'm out. I'm not
Yeah.
coming, smell you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Well, Aries is
Aries
like
is sort of like getting a
new
whole new
start.
life
Yep.
handed to them, and Sag is not finished. You gotta
Well,
go back.
whatever the big moment was, you already know what it was. Like that already happened. This is something that is not about to happen. So like, me going through, I was just seeing what I was seeing with the cards, but the big, rock bottom, blow up, tower moment or whatever you want to call it, it's already happened.
Yeah,
It's just how you handle it from here on
just
out.
how you
You
handle
know.
it. It's like clean up on aisle 5, you know, clean up on
And
aisle 5.
yeah, I say the best way, like especially being one that like for the longest, I went through a lot, like going through school, high school and stuff, and losing a parent young. And I didn't know. I mean, everybody's like, well, I don't even know if Heather's going to graduate high school because I didn't care anymore. I went through a lot of different stuff, and then I had one really hard summer, and I spent it alone in my thoughts, and I had to look at myself, and I said, you know what? This is my time to prove everybody wrong. And went back to school, like paid attention to my grades to make sure I could graduate on time. Actually, I ended up graduating a little bit early from high school, but like it was just, sometimes and that's kind of a fire thing, right? Like we want to show we like to prove others wrong because we're just a little bit, we like, okay, yeah, you think that about me, well, I'll show you different, right? Fire burns, we'll show it to you. So maybe you harness a little bit of that energy and help that give you the strength that you need. But you've definitely gotta grow out of some of these behaviors because it's hurting the people around you, and I know you're starting to feel the crunch. And it also looks like maybe you might be on the verge of trouble if not. So
Some of them, yes, some of them. And
no,
I'm
it
kind of
wasn't that for
catching
everybody.
also
Those
this
were just
this
loud stories.
there's a Sagittarius going, nobody was helping me. Nobody was helping me. Nobody was helping me. Nobody was helping me. The help is coming. However, those relationships of help have to, I mean, That's the thing with the sextile from Sag to Libra. Libras are your tool. You have to develop bridges between people, networking between people, and guess what comes with that is the Four of Pentacles.
And
Relationships take
consistency.
maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just call up a friend you haven't talked to in 20 years and ask them for a tremendous favor. You also cannot close the door in the face of people who want to help, or, you know, or you just ghost them and you just disappear and you go, fine.
Yeah, because
Because
it's
it's
like
moments
I
like
both
this that
believe
you're
it when
like,
I see it.
Dang it,
Believe
I
it when I
can't
see
call so and so because I burned that bridge down.
Right.
And unfortunately, I guess it would depend on the placements in the person's chart, and the solar eclipse energy. We're going to be heading up to a solar eclipse pretty soon
Oh,
in June.
I haven't even
And
looked ahead.
yeah, there's going to be a solar eclipse and then a lunar eclipse. And hey, you guys, let me know in the comments and stuff if you want Heather and I to do the eclipse readings, the astrology chart eclipse readings. I know that my folks loved it. I don't know if Heather's folks know about
got
it, but it's kind of badass. And if you guys want that for June, lunar and solar, let us know. And then we can put that up on offering for you guys again. Heather,
Miriam,
I feel good.
I feel good too. I'm
I
glad
feel
you're feeling
good.
good.
Hi, Allie. Okay, so how many people do we have in the room right now? I just want to send you guys my thanks. I don't even know. I'm not
It
on
says
there.
it says right now we have 10.
10.
It's
Oh,
been fluctuating.
I love you guys. The 10
I
that are
haven't
in
been
here, I know
reading
that
chat.
you guys are
Mhm.
beautiful. Beautiful
Well,
people.
well, I guess some people have today off, some
Hi, Jen.
but
Jen is like,
yeah.
yeah.
Hi, Jen. And we had Marietta
Like,
earlier.
yeah.
She was new. Thanks for joining us. And hi, Allie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Heather and I are going to talk behind the scenes. I don't know if we're going to do another reading or not today. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. I got to talk with Heather. But watch for the notifications. So if you haven't clicked the notifications for this channel, click it.
Yeah.
You never know what we're going to come out with. Astrology, Tara, just talking, answering personal questions with the Tara, because I know you guys like that as well. And
Yeah.
the puppy's going to training this Friday, and my whole schedule is going to open up finally. I'll get my life back, and I'm feeling better. That dang puppy ran me all over the place. The first 3 weeks hurt like hell. And then after that, it was kind of like Mars moved into Leo, and I was like, hello.
Go, go,
And I'm starting to
go.
feel
Right.
better.
Yeah.
I know Heather is too. So we love you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Love you.
Okay.
Hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.
We'll talk to you guys later. Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye. I got to figure out how to end it myself here.